What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to what is going to be a crazy video where you're not going to believe a word that I'm saying. And actually, I don't believe a word I'm going to say, but we had talks with Man United for Jadon Sancho, but I'm not going to talk about Jadon Sancho in this video because Rashford's name came up, and we asked for information on Jadon Sancho, on Marcus Rashford. That's one. And two, that's maybe even crazier, that Inter won Nico Gonzalez if they fail to get Lookman, and also Atletico won Nico Gonzalez if they fail to get Lookman, which means one of the two teams probably will go in for Nico Gonzalez. And who's going to be that? Who knows? But we need money, and these clubs need a signing, and they both like Nico Gonzalez and Lookman. So I want to be realistic and say 1 + 1 = 2, something like that. So before we get into it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive straight into it. Okay, let's start off with the Jadon Sancho, with the Marcus Rashford news, because Di Marzio broke it, saying that we met with Man United for Jadon Sancho, but that's not the topic. Marcus Rashford's name came up, and the club basically said, he's for sale. So what is the situation, basically? And Di Marzio added that they want to have him as a backup for Jonathan David, which means obviously you're not going to sign Colomani, most likely. And also an issue is, I don't think Marcus Rashford is number 9. So that's where the first issue is. Mirko Di Natale came out and he said, actually, I confirmed that during the talks for Jadon Sancho with Man United, Marcus Rashford's name came out. However, there are no real negotiations because his wages are extremely high. Now, somebody told me it's 60 million euros net. I cannot believe he's on 60 million euros net. I don't even want to have the debate, actually, if is he actually a good fit for the club. Well, if the club thinks he's a striker, then no, he's definitely not a good fit. I'm not the biggest Marcus Rashford fan, and people know that. People who watch the channel know I do not like players who are play with their heads down, and that's about it. I appreciate the fact that these players keep going no matter how bad of a game they have. I can appreciate that aspect. For Chico, for Chiesa, and for him, I appreciate these players never give up, basically. But he's not a player we should be signing. If you keep Tudor, and we are keeping Tudor, and you want a player who presses and runs for 90 minutes, well, if people have an issue with Jadon Sancho's attitude on the pitch, then, well, you're going to have an issue with Rashford's attitude on the pitch when it comes to pressing and working hard and actually playing for the team rather than for yourself. Because that was the case at Man United. At Aston Villa, I thought he did better. But maybe it's a different spotlight. The pressure is a bit off. You're not the main guy, and you're not on you're on the biggest wages, but, it's new, it's a different environment. And he did much better at Aston Villa than his last couple of months, seasons, whatever, years at Man U. But that's not a player you should be signing. So it's good that we, ask for information. His wages are insane. He cannot be your number 9 or your backup to Jonathan David. He cannot be the case. It's fun, I guess. And obviously, when you're in talks with clubs, all type of names and situations comes up, and that's when they talk about market opportunities. And if an opportunity pops up, we'll take it. That's not an opportunity because of his wages, obviously. And also, I do not like him as a player. That's one for me. And the idea of him playing under Tudor, pressing week in, week out, playing the number 9 position, basically, or playing up top, I don't see how that's actually a very, very good fit for us, So that's a crazy story, one. But I think this is more crazy when it comes to Nico Gonzalez, because the story is extremely simple. Inter won Lookman. Inter have an agreement with Lookman. Atletico Madrid won Lookman. Inter want to spend 40 million for Lookman. Atalanta want more money for Lookman. If they don't get Lookman, they want Nico Gonzalez. If Atletico Madrid don't get Lookman, they want Nico Gonzalez. That is basically the story. The story is... Excuse me. It's not that the story. Apologies again. I'm not going to edit it out because it's very late while I'm recording this video. Apologies. But the story is that if you need to go off the sources, well, one of these guys is going to get Lookman. That means the other guy needs to end up with Nico Gonzalez, right? And there are still talks about, the Saudi league are offering him a lot of money, up to 10 million euros a season. Now, I still think he wants to play in Europe. Do I see Inter give us 30 million for Nico Gonzalez? Maybe not 30, but I see them paying for Nico Gonzalez if they have no other option. I see Simeone paying money for Nico Gonzalez. At the end of the day, if you want Jadon Sancho and the club wants Jadon Sancho, you're going to need to move up players. And one of them is Nico Gonzalez. And we need at least 30 million euros. The good news out of all of this, or it starts with good news, that we have teams who are interested in Nico Gonzalez, I think. That's the good news. The bad news is it's not moving at a pace it should be moving. It's moving very slowly. That's the bad news, because it leaves you in a situation where, like, okay, we need to speed things up because we need the money, or we need a free slot, whatever. We need to do something, and that's not happening. So that might be a real issue for the club, that I would agree on. But up to this point, we were like, okay, who wants the players we want to move out? And right now, we actually have links about, well, these clubs want the players we are trying to move out. So that's, I think, positive news, in my opinion, compared to, I don't know, a week ago, a couple of days ago. And again, the Nico Gonzalez thing can be resolved mid-August. I don't know, maybe, but it's good to know that actually clubs are interested in Nico Gonzalez. Even if you have a feeling it's unlikely that he will join to Inter, he's on that list. The other name on that list is Jadon Sancho, but I don't think that's the thing for Inter right now. So they have two options. Do I think they're going to get Lookman? Yes. Do I think Atletico Madrid are going to go full force in for Nico Gonzalez the moment Inter send Lookman? Maybe, everything is maybe right now. But you need to take what we're giving, what we have been given. And Nico Gonzalez is, quote unquote, an issue for the club that needs to be resolved. So we need to deal with it. And if that's the news, then, well, that's the news. So I don't know. Very strange couple of 20, not even 12 hours, I guess, when the first Nico thing came out, and then the Rashford thing was like, what, Rashford? But that's a scenario. So in the comment section, let me know, what do you think about the Rashford rumor? Let's say Rashford was on very normal wages, and with normal, I say 8. And I still think that's a lot of money, way too much. But still, let's say he was on 8 million euros, and the fee was very reasonable. Would you take a player like Marcus Rashford, knowing what Tudor wants and knowing that, well, he's going to play on Colomani's position? Do you think that's a thing for us? Yes or no? And do you believe Nico Gonzalez could end up at Inter, or does that sound like a complete madness that Inter are going to pay us around 30 million euros to get Nico Gonzalez and solving an issue, knowing that Nico Gonzalez for the club is an issue? Let me know, and we will talk about it in the comments. Ciao.